President Trump says America is back. He doubled down on his vision and agenda for the nation in last night's address before Congress. During the mostly partisan speech, he boasted about his accomplishments in his first weeks in office.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you. God bless you.
The president touted his administration's sweeping changes to immigration, national security, and the economy as part of his plan for the, quote, renewal of the American dream. We have team coverage of the president's address for you. The Daily Beast, Juliegrace Brufke, is standing by to give her analysis. Michael George is here with me in Studio 57 to fact-check what Trump had to say, and Javier David is tracking the fallout from the tariffs and impact on the markets. But let's begin with Natalie Brand on Capitol Hill. Natalie, good morning. What did we witness last night?
Good morning, Errol. Well, you could see deep party divisions on display in the chamber last night. Some Democrats holding signs in silent protest, others even walking out. Republicans, they said they liked what they heard as President Trump touted what he called swift and unrelenting action during his first 6 weeks of his second term and said his administration is just getting started.
President Donald Trump got a rousing reception from Republicans.
America is back.
From the Democrats, there was dissent. Texas Congressman Al Green was escorted away just minutes into the president's speech.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum.
During his speech, the president asked Congress for more funding of border security.
Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay.
He doubled down on cuts to the federal government.
I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid.
Following Friday's clash, President Trump played up a new letter from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer.
The president also announced that one of the suspected planners behind the 2021 bombing attack that killed 13 U.S. service members outside Kabul airport in Afghanistan has been arrested.
The economy was the main topic of the night. President Trump defended putting new tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China, and he pledged to put reciprocal tariffs on other countries next month.
Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that.
Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin delivered the Democratic response.
America wants change, but there's a responsible way to make change and a reckless way.
A CBS News poll showed that a heavily Republican audience approved of the president's speech.
Now, while we heard the president defending his tariff policy during the speech, notably after the address, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick spoke to reporters here on Capitol Hill and said that the administration might modify the tariffs against Canada and Mexico. He didn't give details, but said that more information could be coming as soon as today, Errol.
A very interesting detail there. Natalie Brand, thank you. Now, as we mentioned, President Trump's speech was more than 100 minutes, and it's difficult as you all wake up to sort through all the information from last night's address. So our CBS News Confirmed team took care of what was fact and fiction. Michael George is here with me in Studio 57. Great to see you, Michael.
Good morning, Errol.
With a breakdown of what was accurate and what was not. So
yeah, a lot to talk about here. So the president covered a wide range of topics. So let's start with Social Security and claims that millions of people over 100 years old are receiving payments illegally.
Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. 3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139. 3.5 million people from ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them.
Well, CBS News Confirmed found that is false. Yes, there is some evidence of Social Security fraud, but there's no evidence that large numbers of people at that advanced age are getting payments illegally. There's no one in the U.S. older than 116. In a statement last month, the new acting commissioner of the Social Security Administration explained that people in the system over 100 years old aren't necessarily receiving benefits. A lot of them are just people who don't have a date of death on record. Okay, next up, DOGE, the White House task force led by Elon Musk. The president touted its work so far.
Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud.
That statement is also false. As of Monday, data from DOGE only itemizes $8.86 billion in canceled federal contracts. Now, CBS News found this data has numerous errors and often overstates the amount saved. Musk's team counted some contracts multiple times, and others represent agreements for a dollar amount at an upper limit that contractors rarely reach. DOGE has not provided any specific evidence of fraud in those contracts. When asked whether the canceled contracts were fraudulent or just at odds with Trump's policies, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said she would argue that all of these things are fraudulent, wasteful, and an abuse of the American taxpayer's dollar. And one of the president's signature issues is immigration. Here's what he said about his border initiative so far.
I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever.
And CBS News determined that's partially true. Here's what's going on. Preliminary government data obtained by CBS News shows the number of migrants crossing the southern border illegally in the first month of Trump's presidency fell to a number not seen in at least 25 years. Last month, Border Patrol counted more than 8,400 migrant apprehensions. The total could still be adjusted when the data is published, but it would mark the lowest monthly apprehensions since fiscal year 2000. That's the earliest period with publicly available monthly data. While there's no monthly data before then, historical statistics show the last time Border Patrol averaged about 8,000 apprehensions per month over a year's time was way back in fiscal year 1968. And when it comes to the economy, and especially the price of eggs, the president pointed the finger at his predecessor.
Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down.
And the confirmed team determined that's partially true. Here's the breakdown. It's true that egg prices climbed to record highs under the Biden administration. But former President Biden also launched efforts to address the bird flu outbreak, which is largely to blame for the rising egg prices. The new Agriculture Secretary announced a new plan to deal with the disease's spread last month. The Biden administration and local agriculture officials say many of those proposals and the funding touted by the Trump administration just extended programs the Biden administration already started. Errol?
All right, Michael, a great breakdown there. Thank you for that. Let's bring in Juliegrace Brufke now for more analysis on this. She's a senior political correspondent at the Daily Beast. Great to have you with us. These speeches, historically, they're an opportunity for some bipartisanship on behalf of the president as they lay out a vision and an agenda. Did we see any of that bipartisanship last night?
Definitely not. It's safe to say it was not a unifying speech, but definitely kind of riled up Trump's base. Even moderate Republicans seemed pretty satisfied with his messaging there. It's definitely the rowdiest joint address, State of the Union style speech that I've seen in over 10 years of covering Congress. So it's interesting to watch. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago when Joe Wilson yelling "you lie" during Obama's speech was a controversy, a days-long controversy, where now you're seeing both sides of the aisle kind of yelling at each other in the chamber.
Yeah, and on that point, at the beginning of President Trump's speech, we saw Congressman Al Green of Texas yelling out, raising his cane. He was then ejected. Speaker Johnson says he now intends to censure him. How are Democrats responding to this moment?
I've spoken with some Democrats that feel the way things were protested may have been counterproductive, but they were very upset about the speech. They felt that they're upset about the agenda, about how the DOGE cuts have been carried out, and have concerns about what will happen to social safety net programs. So I think some of them were supportive. We saw progressives with signs in the chamber, but there definitely are some moderate Democrats that kind of wish that things had been handled differently.
Now, from what you saw, did the president provide the American people with any specifics on how he will tackle kind of big issues, especially economically, facing everyone?
I think it was definitely more of a broad strokes speech on things he'd like to tackle. And we heard him go after Biden quite a bit on inflation and say that he's going to correct that. And talk of Ukraine after his chat with Zelensky next week of saying he's doing everything in his power to kind of bring peace there. So I think that the specifics weren't really laid out there.
All right, Juliegrace Brufke, great to chat with you this morning, joining us from Washington.
Thanks so much.